Hello, good day, and welcome to Ask the Superintendent. I'm here today being interviewed by two fabulous scholars from Worcester Tech High School. We have...
My name is Simon Restrepo, and I'm a junior at Worcester Tech.
I'm Kosar Adam, a senior at Worcester Tech.
And so they've got some great questions for me, and so I'm going to turn it over to you. Who's first?
I'll go first. All right, so you've had some big changes in the past few years. What has been the biggest challenge during that transition?
Such a good question, and I really had to stop and think about it. I think if I could summarize, the biggest challenge is that everything is new. Mm-hmm. Yes. Everything is new. Yeah. Whether it's where do you go to get your dry cleaning done? Mm-hmm. I need a dentist and a doctor. Yeah. I need to know how to just get around and which grocery store is going to work best for us. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, learning the school district, learning the schools, learning the people in the community. So everything is new, and that is very challenging.
Yep. And to follow up, do you have any guidance or tips for students who are going through transitional challenges like how you did?
I do. I think the biggest piece is to recognize that it is a transition. So life won't always be this kind of exhausting part of everything being new. Remind yourself, do that self-talk about this is just something new, and see it as an adventure and something exciting rather than something that's weighing you down and carrying you. I think that's really important. I've been using this term, embrace the squiggle, because life is not as straight and narrow. It has lots of movement in it, and so be comfortable with that. And be okay with not knowing, and asking for help. For some of us, me being one especially, it's really hard for me to ask for help. So this forced me to do that, which actually then creates those natural bonds with other people, and that's a really important life skill, because we're not supposed to do this life by ourselves. Yeah. So that's one. And then I think the other is be okay with making mistakes and kind of falling down. That's really important. That's going to be part of it. And then finally, rest. Yeah, find time to just say, I just need to rest right now, because so much is new. And so your brain is it's on a constant overdrive. Yep. So taking care of yourself is really important too.
Yeah, definitely, I agree 100%.
Great question.
Thank you. All right, and my next question will be, thinking back to when you were in high school, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't try to dress like Madonna. No, I'm just kidding. That was my time period. I would say, this was a great question too, know who you are and be proud of it. Yes. Yeah, be yourself, own who you are. It took me many decades after high school for me finally to really own my identity, and that's so incredibly important no matter what you decide to do in your career. So, and when you're in high school, don't try to be someone else. Yeah. Be okay with who you are, where you are in life, and then set goals for yourself and figure out how you're going to get there, knowing that life's a squiggle. Yep. And so, you're going to have these downfalls. I have a kind of a little saying that I have in my bathroom that I look at every day. It says, be yourself, there's no one else like you. And that's just so important, because in high school, and even in your early 20s, you feel like you have to like compete with others, and you don't. Yeah. Right? You were born with beautiful innate talents and gifts, and you want to give that to others. That's the way you were made, right? So own it, love the language you speak in your home, the culture, the foods. Just be who you are, because you are exactly who you're supposed to be, and wherever you're at, you're supposed to be in that place for some reason, no matter how hard it is, because there's a plan for you later.
Yeah. Definitely. I just want to add, I think in a world that's constantly changing, I don't think that change has to impact you. So I think being yourself is ultimately the number one thing you could do for yourself. Yep.
Okay.
Nicely said.
Thank you.
So I'd like to ask, what did you want to be when you were little, and how did that vision evolve over time?
It's funny, because when I saw that, I thought, I had forgotten that when I was really little, what I wanted to be was an interior designer.
Really?
Yeah, cool. I did. I had no clue how to get there. And I remember my dad getting a shoebox for me and putting in like little pieces of fabric and rocks And I was like, I don't know what to do with this. So I like decorated my rocks. But that's as far as I went because I didn't have anybody really guiding me. And so I forgot about that until actually when I moved here and we were decorating our new home and I started finding a lot of fun and passion. And I was like, that's right. That's what I wanted to be when I was a little girl. But then as time progressed, then I decided I wanted to be a lawyer because I like to talk a lot. Well, no, maybe I like to debate. That's probably more of it. I like to debate. I actually am pretty quiet when I can be, but I like to debate. So I wanted to go into law. I earned my bachelor's in history, but I wanted to go into immigration law, and I knew that that would not necessarily produce a lot of money, and I was going to have to get really big loans to go to law school. And so I changed my path and became an educator, and that's part of that squiggle because I landed exactly where I needed to be. So it was an interesting kind of trajectory, but I wanted to be an interior designer, lawyer, and educator. I never had any intention of being a superintendent. I didn't even know what that was. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that squiggle led you to us. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then lastly, I have, who are some people who have influenced you in your life, and how did that shape you as a person?
Another great question. I would say, so personally, it's my father. My father, and he was not around a lot. He had to travel for work a lot. But when I look back on who I am, I know that it is, or who I've become in kind of my life's journey, it's because the way that my dad really let me experience life and do my mistakes, and he never passed judgment on me. And he really just, I would watch him, how he loved life. Like my dad was a speed demon on the freeways in LA, crazy. But I could look back on it now, and when I spoke at his eulogy, I said, I really think he was just in such a hurry to get life, right? So he'd get on that freeway and he'd had to get over to that fast lane really fast, and then he could relax, because then he was in his jam, right? So he taught me that. He taught me really just to love life. Professionally, I've had quite a few people. I joined some organizations that really helped to grow me, but I'm going to say the person that I really try to emulate still to this day. Her name is Thelma Melendez de Santana. She was superintendent in Pomona Unified when I was a classroom teacher. She saw something in me. And she was the assistant sup at first. So she started kind of saying, you really should consider going into leadership. And I wasn't interested at that time, but over time we spent a lot of we spoke a lot. And now I could look back and see how much time she poured into me, and what a great gift that was, because that wasn't, I know how busy she was. She ended up leaving the superintendency in Pomona to be the assistant education of secretary under President Obama. So she's just someone that I really, still to this day, very much admire, and I think about the grace that she carried and the role model that she was for children, and that's what I want to be too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I definitely think it's the people in our lives that shape us into who we become. So thank you for sharing those people with us.
Yeah, thank you for these great questions.
Of course.
I appreciate them. And I appreciate both of you. I've gotten to know both of you in different ways through the Superintendent Student Advisory. And you are not only just inspirational, but you're like deep souls. Yeah, very, very mature for your age. So thank you. So thank you for joining us in the Ask a Superintendent interview. You can see that we've got some fabulous children in Worcester Public Schools. They are young adults, and they are going to take the city to a whole nother level. We'll see you next time.